not in a flow. I think whenever you don't see those shots go in the basket, it sucks a little bit. But I think in terms of doing my job and showing up how I need to for my team, I've been really consistent this season in doing that. But super excited for more opportunity to showcase some more shooting and hopefully the ball going in the basket.
Anything else? Bugs, can you talk a little bit about what Jana means to you? Obviously, the two of you are you've been here the entire time. She came in late, but how has Jana grown, and what have you seen from her, especially this year?
I love Jana so much. She's a super special person to me, and I think just our time for us as freshmen and her coming in to now, our bond has just grown, and just different aspects and not just basketball. I think one thing that I really love that we've kind of both grown into is our faith. We talk all the time about our faith and just what we've been learning and what we read and how we can better each other and ourselves and our lives, and just, trusting in God and putting it in His will instead of ours. One thing that I really cherish about us is that before every game now we pray. That's one thing I absolutely love, and that's just that would be really special to me. But Jana's just special, just her role changed too. She before was our energy person. You could definitely feel the shift in energy when she was on the floor. It meant so much to us. But now this year she came off an injury, but she's playing 40 minutes. That's so huge, and I don't think people really realize that. The fact that everybody had enough confidence in her to play 40 minutes, and we rely on her. That just means that just shows how special she is to our team, and just her IQ and her unselfishness. We love Jana. Jana's super special to us, and it's gonna suck not seeing her every single day. But just her impact on the floor, especially this year, is meant so much.
Bella, back to this game. With all the extracurricular stuff going on with college game day, national television, does that, add to the pressure? I mean, at this point you're kind of used to it, but how does having game day there and the stakes of this game add to the pressure, if there is any?
Pressure is a privilege, but it's not even pressure. There's zero pressure on us. Our whole entire thing is to go out there and have fun and execute. This is the last regular season Big 12 game that I'll get to play with Buggy and everybody on this team, which is crazy to think. But it's time to go have fun and just showcase what we do and hopefully win. But it's a privilege. We get to go have fun and let our talent shine.
Bella, I'm assuming you work all the time on it, but what was the difference in this last game with your shot? Was it just a matter of seeing one go in and then just getting in the flow?
Yeah, I think once one went in, it was okay, here we go. I know that I'm going to get to my spots and get to rhythm, that my teammates are going to find me and make sure they hit me in my shooting pocket. But, I get a lot of extra reps, whether it's Tez texting me or I get with one of our GAs, free throws, extra threes, spot-up shots and whatnot. I know that I can make shots, so seeing that one go in, I think kind of busted the lid off the basket for me.
Bella, I know last time Olivia and Marta gave you guys a hard time at home. So you guys, I'm not going to ask for the game plan, but do you guys have a different approach to how you're going to stop those two?
I would say being just more intentional about how we're guarding. I think that no matter what game plan we have, if someone's doing something really well, we have to take those things away. So making adjustments, communicating with each other. If Bugs and I see something that we could be doing different, getting together and being hey, we need to do this, and this, to keep them from getting into a flow and kind of disrupting their offense. So I would say just being ready to adjust on the fly and giving everything that we have.
Bugs kind of spoke to this already, but Bella, what would it mean to you as a senior to get a Big 12 championship if you win this week?
It would be really special. I think it would be the culmination of all of our hard work over the past 4 years would finally come together, and it would be okay, we did it. We know that we do things the right way. We know that day in and day out we come in and give everything that we have, and we support each other through it all. So to do it with this group and to do it with Bugs and Jana and Kyla, who I've been with for 4 years, it just would be really, really special.
Yeah. Plenty of ball left to play, of course, but kind of this last conference, what's the morale? What's the vibe? How are you guys feeling?
Last one, best one. It's gonna be good. I think everybody is really being intentional with how we show up to practice, how we're preparing our bodies, how we're fueling all of that, and being just really focused. So we're excited. We're ready. And like Bugs is over here shaking her head. Like we're ready. We're going to be ready for this game.
Anything else? All right.
Sick 'em.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. What are some changes, not to give away your defensive game plan?
Yeah, there'll be changes. I think that there's a difference between making someone be a scorer and not guarding them. And so, certainly we have to be better at the defensive end. I thought, offensively we did some good things, but I also think we've got to work for better shots at times. We got to balance pace with shot selection. So I think there's two sides to that. I think it's hard to give a team like TCU more possessions because they are such an elite offensive team when it comes to their ability to make shots. You watch them against Cincinnati and they're like 2 for 16 at the half from 3, and then they end up making like 12 threes, and that's just what they can do. So besides, the obvious Miles and Suarez, Hunter makes threes, and Bigby can get hot from 3, and so they'll really hurt you if they can get good shots for good shooters.
Nikki, even though it would be a share, how cool is it to be able, through some of the bumps y'all been through, to be able to play for a Big 12 championship on the final day?
Yeah, it's a little different than last year, of course, when it was like a winner-take-all situation. But I think, when you set your goals for a season, I certainly think that was one of them. And, I know it's one of them. It's one for our staff. It's one for our players, and to play in the last game and have a chance. Some leagues, teams don't even make the conference tournament. And so, I've read some things about, do teams, when they know they're not even going to make the conference tournament, do they even, once they're eliminated from that, do they even compete? And I don't think our league has that. I think everyone is still playing for something. And whether it's a seed or it's pride or whatever, I think that to be in the position to be playing for a championship on the last day is pretty special. And I think the league has to feel good about, the idea that we're playing for a championship on the last day. And if West Virginia wins and we win, it's a 3-way. And but I'll be okay with Sharon right now if that's how it plays out.
How can the extra time this week work in your favor?
Well, I think the stretch of 5 and 12. I think we needed some time off. I think there were stretches when we looked tired, and so I think it just kind of gives you some time to rest your body and rest your mind. And then we obviously didn't play TCU that long ago, so there's a familiarity from the players in terms of obviously personnel. So you can kind of jump right back in and hopefully right some wrongs that that happened the last time. But I think it was good for everyone. I think we were able to recruit a little bit and just not say get healthy, because we haven't been unhealthy. We've been we had a lot of people on the injury report in the preseason, but we really haven't had a lot of that since. So but certainly just rest is important this time of year.
Coach, you're able to bounce back after losses to TCU and Tech by pretty big margins in those victories. I'm just curious, does anything change in practice or how you game plan after you take a loss like that?
I certainly think players, I think coaches would tell you this anywhere. We've used this terminology a lot since we've been here, that winning can be a distraction. And you can get, no matter how much you try to make them uncomfortable when you're winning, things are easier. And I think there's a natural tendency when you get beat to really lock in and be more dialed and focused in practice and what we're doing. And you look at that TCU game, and it was, the end of the third quarter, beginning of fourth quarter, where it really, really got away from us. As poorly as we defended Miles in the third, we were still scoring. And so we were to some degree keeping pace with them. But then a couple possessions here, missed assignments, a couple threes, and all of a sudden it's a double figure game and it gets away from you. It almost felt like the Tech game, we didn't get off the bus. And so, I think it's the mental toll that type of loss, it impacts your confidence. And so you've got to get them back seeing the ball go in the basket. And I really believe that, the Kansas State game was so valuable to us because Arizona made us uncomfortable still. I thought they did a lot of things really, really well. But, to have some free flow and see different people make shots and play in transition, and I thought was really important for us because it's not that the personnel between TCU and Kansas State are the same. And they're really good defensively, but they're not a team that picks up 94 feet. They're not a team that wears on you that way. They're going to wear at you because they have length at the rim. They're going to wear on you because they have length with Big B and different players on the perimeter. But the way they're good defensively is very different than the way a Tech is good defensively.
For the first time in Big 12, back here in the back.
Sorry.
It's okay. For the first time in Big 12 women's basketball, College Game Day will be at the game. What does it mean to be a part of history, and does it add a little more fuel to the fire?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need more fuel. I think it's an awesome thing for our league. I think it's a really cool respect thing because you've got UNC playing Duke on the last day. You've got other good games that it could have realistically they could have gone to, but I think it kind of shows where. And I'll Mark has done an elite job of raising the level of TCU women's basketball. TCU against Baylor wouldn't have been the game day matchup 4 years ago. And what he's done in a short period of time and the players that he's brought, a year, we beat them his first year, but they had Haley, now Olivia and Clara Silva and Suarez, and he does a really good job of putting those kids in position to showcase their talent, and so they're not easy to guard, and they're really well coached. And so I think this idea that this has become a rival, it was not a rival when I got here. Texas was a rival. But for this to become an in-state rival and the game that's for a championship 2 years in a row says a lot about what he's done at TCU, and the fact that the Big 12 is getting this opportunity to showcase, two of our best teams. And I don't want to leave out West Virginia and a lot of the teams that have had unbelievable years this year. Colorado. I think about some of the coaching jobs in this league and voting for Coach of the Year, and I think there's just so many things that I'm proud of as a league. I think that the job Mark has done at West Virginia has been unbelievable. Losing Quinterly and some of the players that he lost, and to put himself in position to potentially win a championship. I think what J.R. Payne has done at Colorado this year is pretty remarkable when you think about the players that left there from a season ago, and she rebuilt an entire roster and how well they've played down the stretch. Krista Gerlich at Texas Tech. So I know you didn't ask me that question, but I think my point in that is that teams have had really good years in the Big 12, and the Big 12 doesn't usually get showcased the same way the Big 10, the SEC, and the ACC do. And so I think this is a big moment for the Big 12, but it says more. It's not just Baylor, TCU. I think it's a reflection of how the top has really risen. I think what JC's done, going on the road and winning in Ames this past weekend at Oklahoma State, has been really impressive. So super proud to be a part of the Big 12 and have this opportunity to showcase two of our best teams on national TV on really the last day of the regular season for all the Power 4 leagues anyway.
Coach Nikki, last season at this time, you had Dariana Littlepage-Buggs sitting on the bench by you because of an injury. Describe just what it means for her to be back out there with this team with all of your goals still in front of you.
Yeah, I think Buggs, you look at her being the only player in our league averaging a double-double. And you look at her size, and you look at the people she's passed by on the rebounding lists at Baylor, where this has been a place that's been known for some of the elite post players in all the country for a long time. It just says a lot about her heart And, I thought when we were at Texas Tech, she was carrying us. She's had these moments where she's not our best offensive player, but she's maybe our most fearless. And, she's about winning. And I know that if she has 1 point and 1 rebound and we win, it won't be any different than if she has 20 and 18. And that's the beauty of Bugs. It is always about team. It is always about winning. Does she want to have personal success? Absolutely. But her success comes as a result of the energy that she brings to the court. And when I look at how she started this season and all the questions about what's going on with Bugs, and now I look at, I had to vote for all conference. You can't vote for your own players, okay? And I'm looking at the analytics, and she's top 3 in the league in field goal percentage at over 60%. So she's shooting her best mark of her career in conference play. And she shot more threes than she's ever shot. It's not high volume, but, to be shooting over 60%, to still average over 10 rebounds just says a lot about her, because I remember people early going, is Bugs pressing? What's wrong with Bugs? And here she is with the best mark she's ever had in the Big 12. And maybe she's down 1 basket scoring, but her efficiency is up. And so, she's just a winner. She's a winner. She won state championships. Her club team was elite. Talk about a good club team. Michaela Williams, who's at LSU, and Little Paige Bugs and Jordan Harrison. They were good. She's won at every level.
Nikki, I know you do. Do other coaches appreciate Bella's defense, how good she is there? And then you kind of touched on it the other night, but what difference does it make when her shot's going in too on the flip side?
Well, if you watch our TCU game, Miles kept either 2 feet in the paint or a shadow on Talia when Talia would get a catch. So it just allowed more attention to go to other players. And I think when you look at the dynamics of our scoring and our scoring being down this season, we scored 80 against Kansas State and Bella had 16. And if she has 4, we don't have 80. Bella's going to play. It's not a matter of whether she's going to get the minutes because she's so valuable to us. But we certainly become a more potent offensive team when she's making open threes. And, she hit a pull-up in the first half, and she had her rip baseline drive and finished. And, what's been holding her up kind of as she struggled to put the ball in the basket is she's shooting 90% from the foul line, but she doesn't get there enough to get to double figures like Talia sometimes gets, 10 foul shots. And so it just makes us a more balanced offensive team. It makes us harder to guard. It makes Talia's job easier when she's not seeing a second defender in her space, and so it's a big deal because she's capable. It's not... there are players in this country that are elite defensively and can't shoot and can't score. And I think that's the tough part is because when you look at the volume of shots Bella takes, it's not like she doesn't take shots. She just wasn't making shots. And so it is important to us because she's going to get them, and she doesn't have to make as many as she made against Kansas State, but we're pretty good offensively, and the ball flows around a lot easier and makes everybody's job better when she's making shots. So, she's going to be out there. It's just not a question of whether Bella's going to be on the floor. It's going to be a question of whether she makes shots when they leave her open, because I doubt that one game is going to change a game plan, until she proves it,
Is Kyla feeling better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I want to ask about Jana too. Especially coming off an injury like she was, how have you seen her progress, and how is she different now than she was at the beginning of the season as a player?
I think she's more confident. I think Jana is a ball of energy, and I think it looks like she's confident because she's always talking positively. But I don't think that she believed. When you look at the Duke game back and you see kind of the struggles in that game, or the UNLV game and you see the struggles in that game, I think you can't will your way to confidence. You can't say, my knee feels good, I'm not going to let it hold me back. I mean, you could say it, but until you do it, until you have those moments where you make shots and you handle pressure and you hit rollers, like until you've done that and repped it enough and had enough success, you're just trying to talk yourself into it, And I hear various people say, fake it till you make it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? And I've heard both sides by psychologists, but ultimately I think there was a little bit of that. Like, she wanted it so bad that she was going to talk herself into believing she was where she wanted to be, because she'd worked really hard to get back and physically was in a good place. But it still takes time, and she's done it better than most, honestly. Like, the way she's come back and the way she's managed her rehab and the way she's kept herself in shape. Like, she's arguably, she's probably in better shape than anyone on our team, her and Bugs. Like, they're the only two that, to me, you don't see them look tired. Like, everybody else, you can see that she needs a sub. Those two just kind of blow through kind of their second wind. Thank you. All right, I'll see you tonight. How'd you guys?